Before this cruise, we heard two very different opinions about Holland America.
Some people say it's the best cruise line for Alaska.
And others say it's boring.
After this cruise, we definitely have an answer.
Trading palm trees for glaciers changes absolutely everything about how you should cruise. If you go into an Alaskan adventure expecting the loud pool deck parties and towering water slides of the Caribbean sailings, you're going to miss out on the real magic.
An Alaskan cruise is a completely different type of vacation. It's not about non-stop high-energy distractions. It's about slowing down, breathing in the fresh air, and letting the breathtaking scenery be the absolute star of the show.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Ann.
Now, we've experienced all that aboard the Holland America Nieuw Amsterdam on a 7-night Alaskan cruise that sailed from Whittier, Alaska to Vancouver, British Columbia.
So, is Holland America the ultimate way to see Alaska, or is it a total snooze fest? Let's find out. And it starts right away at the beginning, because just getting to your cruise ship in Alaska is an adventure all of its own.
Oh, absolutely. We actually flew into Anchorage, and the process of getting to the port is a very different experience from hopping on a ship in Miami. And Whittier is a solid 2.5-hour bus ride almost from Anchorage. We booked our passage to the cruise port in Whittier directly through Holland America.
This was honestly the only major real hiccup on this trip. There was a surprising lack of communication from Holland America about our meeting points and times when we were in Anchorage. We were left guessing quite a bit more than we'd like.
When you're traveling that far, you want a little bit of a hand-holding experience on the logistics end.
Especially if you're a first-time cruiser.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you want more details on this process, check out the video that we have linked down in the description below. But once we finally got to Whittier, the script flipped completely. The boarding process at the terminal was super easy and incredibly fast.
We were only through the line in a few minutes.
Yeah.
We walked right on board and were able to go straight to our stateroom and drop off our bags. Starting a vacation without having to lug around your carry-on through the crowded buffet is a massive win in my book.
Big win. So now let's talk about the Nieuw Amsterdam herself. Now this is a mid-sized ship that holds just about 2,700 max. You're not going to find the overwhelming crowds of the mega ships here. It's a very sophisticated ship that has a classic feel, but it definitely didn't feel dated.
No, and it was incredibly well laid out. It was very easy to get around. By the way, if you want a detailed look at the layout, we have filmed a full tour of each deck, so check out the link in the description below.
Exactly. Now, everything on this ship is designed to allow you to immerse yourself in the Alaskan experience. The vibe is very laid back. Now, one major tip, pack your swimsuit. The ship has a beautiful solarium with a retractable roof, so you can enjoy the pool and the hot tubs even when it's chilly outside. But on our last day, it was so warm that they even opened up the roof.
They sure did. One of the absolute highlights of our trip was sitting in the outdoor hot tubs, enjoying the breathtaking scenery of the Hubbard Glacier. Such a Midwest thing to do.
And we had a lot of fun too, and
We
had
did.
a drink in hand the whole bit.
Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous.
But as far as our room goes, we booked an obstructed ocean view cabin and paid just under $1,000 each for this room. Now we were a little bit nervous about it, but we actually really liked it, having that large patio-sized window, and it let in a lot of natural light, and we got to see some of the passing scenery.
And the best part of the cabin was the bathtub. After a long, cold day exploring an Alaskan port, soaking in a hot bath in your own cabin is top-tier luxury.
That's money.
Also, the onboard shops were a pleasant surprise. They had a lot of great Alaska-specific gear and souvenirs, and for cruise ship pricing, was really very reasonable. Let's transition to the service, because this is where Holland America really began to pull away from the rest of the pack.
Yep.
The level of service on this cruise made you feel like they thought about every single one of your needs before you even stepped foot on the ship.
Absolutely. Everyone, and I mean everyone, smiled, waved, and greeted us. They seem to genuinely be having a good time, which completely changes the atmosphere of your vacation.
It truly does. A perfect example. We were celebrating my brother-in-law's birthday, And the dining staff, including our amazing servers, Paul and Tom, shout out to you guys, actually came out and sang to him in a traditional Filipino song. It was such a personalized moment, and they really enjoyed sharing their culture with us. They were also consistently giving us great little hints and tips about what to do at each of the upcoming ports.
And our room stewards were also fantastic, as was literally every employee that we encountered.
Everyone.
They anticipated our needs and were just fun and chill people to be around.
And when you're around people who are working, having a good time, you just want to have a good time with them.
You got into some conversations with the guy at the crepe station
Yeah,
in the
the crepe
buffet.
station. I did. It was really great. So shout out to the employees. You were amazing.
So we need to talk about the food, and we're going to start off in the Lido Market Buffet. Now, honestly, this, I would say, was one of my favorite, if not the favorite buffet I've ever had on any cruise ship or cruise line. It's a full service buffet, meaning that the staff plates your food for you. You don't grab the tongs yourself.
Yeah. Now, I've seen some people complain about this, saying it takes too long, or they felt it was awkward if they had to ask the staff for an additional slice of bacon or whatever. But I didn't feel that way at all. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. We loved having the full service experience, and easily it was one of the best buffets we've ever had on a cruise line.
And on top of that, the other thing that I like is it cuts down on the spread of germs, and nobody wants to catch the flu or norovirus when you're on vacation.
Absolutely.
And secondly, it made the whole experience feel much more upscaled and was very calm. There's no chaotic free-for-all of people reaching over each other for the bacon, and we didn't feel that it honestly took any longer.
No. In fact, I thought it was completely the opposite. I thought it was very calm, and you were always able to find a seat. Yeah. Now, the food itself was also fantastic. They had an extremely well-appointed salad bar. The fresh crepe station at breakfast was my ultimate favorite.
Yeah.
They had huge sub sandwiches, and again, we could always find a seat during peak dining times. That doesn't happen on a lot of cruise ships.
It does not.
It just flowed well. And not having the chaos of the buffet just made mealtime a lot nicer.
Definitely. And you loved those crepes every morning. What was it you had? Nutella?
I had Nutella and banana.
Banana.
Which is something I had when we were in Paris. And yes, it was amazing.
You loved it. As a matter of fact, the guy knew when you were coming every morning.
He did. By the end of the cruise, he knew I was coming, knew what to make me.
But moving on to the main dining room, though, we had the traditional cruise menu, plus some incredible regional Alaskan dishes. Now, on Orange Night, they even had some authentic Dutch cuisine, and the food was outstanding.
It really was amazing. I'd easily give the food and the service in the main dining room an extremely high rating. The quality was consistent every night. And again, the service was amazing. Always with a smile.
Always with a smile. I mean, like most things, I didn't like every single dish they had, but overall, it was very good.
Yeah,
very
indeed.
good. And because we thought the food was so good in the main dining room, we didn't feel the need to try the specialty dining because the included options were, in my opinion, that good. You know, for casual bites, they had New York pizza, which was pretty good, but they had dive-in burgers by the pool, and those were an absolute home run.
Yes.
Those are similar to the Guy's burgers that you might find on Carnival Cruise Line, and
everything's made to order.
And everything is made to order. They gave you little pagers so that when your food was ready, you just came up and grabbed your food at that point. So yeah, very good secondary food options as well.
Also, if you're on the Nieuw Amsterdam, keep an eye out for the daily happy hour specials at some of the bars, including the Ocean Bar. During the happy hour, they serve drinks half price. And that saved us a pretty good amount of money, especially since we don't typically buy drink packages when we cruise.
No, but it was nice to have that option.
All right, next, let's talk about the entertainment and activities available on the Nieuw Amsterdam.
And the Nieuw Amsterdam has all your typical cruise fare. It has the trivia. It has the bingo. It has the deal or no deal shows during the daytime, as well as the world stage, which had your nightly shows featuring comedians, magicians, and of course, music. Now, we wouldn't say that These shows were the best shows we've ever seen, and it wasn't the massive Broadway-style productions you've often seen on other mega ships, but it was fine, and we still did enjoy them overall.
Yeah, I mean they were decent shows.
Yeah.
I mean they were entertaining. One really neat touch that I saw in the Daily Planner was that they offered art classes during the day, which I thought was really cool. It was a nice, relaxing change of pace from some of the things you often see. Plus, they had a great library, and up in the crow's nest, they had a huge assortment of games that you could play.
That was probably one of the largest gaming areas I've seen board game-wise.
Oh, yeah.
But the absolute, to me anyways, the absolute highlight of the evenings was at the Rolling Stone Lounge.
Oh, yeah. They were great.
This was phenomenal. This place featured classic rock, and the house band was easily probably one of the best that we've ever seen at sea.
I think the best we've seen at sea.
It was really that good. They seemed to always be having an absolute blast. People were out there dancing, and the energy was just electric. In fact, those lounges were packed every single night, which actually made it a little bit hard sometimes to get a seat if you didn't show up early. So we actually, after like the first night, we started showing up about 30 minutes ahead of time.
And then camping out in there.
And camping out.
Because we loved the band. They were just so amazing.
They really were.
They put on a great show. They'd come in the audience, and literally the dance floor was packed.
It was.
The entire cruise.
People had a blast. And they also had a lot of lounge singers, and then, of course, the billboard on board, which was where they had the piano acts that the crowd really did enjoy, as you could see how packed it was.
And don't forget Orange Night.
Orange Night.
The Holland America's version of the White Night deck parties that that you sometimes see on other cruise lines. So make sure if you go on to Holland America Cruise, you pack something orange, because it really is a fun atmosphere. Everyone dressed in orange and dancing the night away to the music. It was really a fun time and a nice homage to Holland America's Dutch roots.
Now let's get into the main event and why we took this cruise in the first place. Alaska. Holland America is a pioneer in Alaskan cruising, and folks, it absolutely shows. This itinerary is dialed in and everything felt effortless.
Because they have so much history in Alaska, being one of the first cruise lines to do Alaska cruises, Holland America gets the absolute best docking locations in all of the ports. This means significantly less walking, especially for those people who have mobility issues, and you don't have to take any of those annoying tender rides on and off the ship. They literally dock right in town. It is steps, and I mean steps, away from the ship in almost every single port. In Ketchikan, Skagway, Juneau, you literally were right there. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, Ketchikan, we got off the boat and we were just like 50 feet and we were in town already.
Yeah, I mean, you get off and you're literally right there in the town. Same with Skagway. It was fantastic.
The excursions were, in my opinion, were also reasonably priced for the budget cruiser. But they still had plenty of incredible offerings to check off those major bucket list items, including helicopter rides and dog sled adventures.
Now, we ended up booking 2 excursions directly through Holland America. The first was the White Pass train in Skagway. Do the White Pass train in Skagway. Besides being, again, literally feet from the boat, it's right there when you get off the boat.
Yeah.
The views, the scenery, the stories they tell you on the trip are amazing. Yeah. You definitely want to do that. By the way, sit in the back car on the right.
Yeah, or, well, it doesn't matter which side.
I suppose, yeah, if you do the round trip, it could be either.
It could be either way, but the back car is where we sat, and I was able to get some great photo shots off the back of the train.
Because they let you walk onto the back, which was really cool.
It was phenomenal, some of the shots I was able to get.
Now, in Juneau, we went to the Mendenhall Glacier and rode the Gold Belt tram to the top of Mount Roberts. Now, we booked both of these excursions directly through Holland America. And what was really weird about it, it was actually cheaper than if we purchased the tickets to those things ourselves. That doesn't normally happen.
No, it doesn't.
And so it was, you had the convenience of buying it through the cruise line. And again, like I said, it was cheaper. It was really weird.
Yeah, it was a good value. But to me, the real privilege of sailing with Holland America is their access to Glacier Bay National Park. Now, There's only 2 other major cruise lines that are even permitted to enter the park.
Yeah, it has to do with making sure that limiting the impact on the wildlife. And on those scenic cruising days, they open up the bow for the ship for the passengers. And the crew comes around and they've got hot pea soup and they've got warm beverages. And it's just a fun time to be out there seeing these amazing glaciers and all the wildlife. It's outstanding. Now, if you didn't get a balcony cabin, don't worry about it. On scenic cruising days, you go to deck 3. It has a wraparound deck. It goes all the way around and you get clear, unobstructed views of everything you want to see. Plus, on deck 3, it's a little more enclosed and it's covered, so it's a little less windy if it happens to be a little bit cold and windy that day.
Yeah.
But we were able to sit in the Adirondack chairs with a blanket and just look at this amazing scenery.
Yeah, it was fun. They actually had like towels out that you could just grab and put over you when you were on deck 3, and it was enjoyable. We actually sat there for probably a good hour just watching the glaciers and so on.
And the photographers will even roam through and take your picture in front. They'll even use your camera sometimes to take your picture in front of the glaciers, which I thought was really cool.
Okay, but now if you don't want to be outside, go on up to the Crow's Nest Lounge, which is situated high up at the front of the ship. It's the perfect place to grab a specialty coffee and watch those glaciers roll by.
Yeah. This is also where they host a lot of the special Alaska programming. Now, what they do in Glacier Bay Park is they bring in wildlife experts and park rangers on board to help the passengers. They point out animals and narrate the journey as you're going through the park. They also had a Tlingit cultural ambassador who taught us all about the lives of the native peoples. It was really awesome. Do not skip these programs. They add so much depth to the trip and really help you feel like you've experienced Alaska.
And not only that, I believe it was in Glacier Bay, they actually came on board in the early morning, and then they did all their programming and everything, and then
they were there all day.
And they were there all day. And one of the fun things to do is when they leave, everybody waves to them as they get on their little boat to head off for the day.
Yeah, because we don't dock to pick them up. They bring a boat and they goes alongside.
Yeah.
And they climb a ladder, which is really kind of cool.
It's fun, but everybody waves to them as they leave at the end of the day and thanks them for everything they did. So, who is this ship for? Well, if you're a cruiser who loves frantic energy of a mega ship and constant loud activities happening 24/7, you might feel a little bit bored here.
But especially if you are going to Alaska, this ship does exactly what it's supposed to do. It puts the majesty of Alaska at the forefront. The Nieuw Amsterdam and her amazing staff gently take you on a different kind of adventure that is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
And everything just flowed. Great people, beautiful scenery, amazing ports. It's a vacation where you can just finally breathe. There's also plenty of activities to keep you entertained, but absolutely none of it ever felt rushed.
No, it didn't. We loved our time on the Nieuw Amsterdam, and we would recommend it to anyone looking for a classic, immersive Alaska experience.
Now, if you found this video helpful at all, just hit that like and subscribe button to make sure that you get all of our weekly videos that we put out, and we do appreciate it.
And if you're interested in seeing more of our Alaska trip, click on this playlist here. Thanks for watching, and happy cruising.